they're a team that would. I don't know if the over-unders for wins has been released, but I'm telling you right now, if it has, and Utah is anything around 8, you take the over on their win total. All day.
Utah is an almost unanimous pick to win the Pac-12.
Yeah.
I don't think they're unanimous. I thought they got the most votes, but I thought they only beat Oregon by like 1.
I mean, I'm sure they're a very high favorite to be there, but I don't. Like I said, I don't. Even odds makers don't pay attention to fucking Utah. Nobody pays attention to Utah.
Let me check and see if there is...
I don't mean like as a college. I mean as a fucking state. No one pays attention to Utah.
That's good.
Unless you're going skiing. Like, maybe then you care? Like, isn't Utah a dry state?
Top pick as pick to win the Pac-12. I don't know if they've ever been picked to win.
Utah is 9. What is this fucking shit? CBS, and this was done on June 25th, 2019. CBS has the breakdown like this. Over, under for Washington, 9.5. Oregon, 9. Utah, 9. They think Washington's going to be better than Oregon and Utah?
A lot of people
seem to. I don't agree with it, but a lot of people seem to think that Washington is going to have zero issue coming back after losing their entire defense. I don't understand it. I get they're well coached and everything. You know, they are a strong team, but I just don't see them being that dominant. Yes, they have an easy schedule outside the conference, a lot easier than Oregon, a lot easier than Utah, but I just don't see them beating both of those teams.
Yeah, I kind of contribute this to the fact that, one, a lot of these writers and people that you get that are going to write about the Pac-12 don't stay up late enough to watch any fucking Pac-12 games. So they just go off of whatever last season was and just try and fucking hodgepodge it together.
He was there. They're talking about starting some of these Pac-12 games at 9 a.m. West Coast time.
That's obnoxious.
That's pretty crazy. That would be, I would love it. That's 12 o'clock for us over here. That's perfect.
Start them at noon. Just have them be the 3 o'clock games. Fuck the MAC.
Yeah, but you could have them start at noon and fucking...
I'm in agreement with that, but, the MAC would be all...
Yeah, but still, fuck the MAC. Like, that's their problem.
They could be the 1 p.m. games.
And it's also the fact that, I just don't... I think because there's such a drop-off between the top teams and the rest of it, it's a conference that is often overlooked. And not unfairly so, in my opinion. I think that there needs to be more consistency from these teams and more high-level plays from the ones we mentioned, USC, Stanford, Cal, like UCLA. They need to get back to, football like they used to fucking do. And then you'd have more emphasis and more focus and more people really looking into the Pac-12. Because I personally, with a lot of these, with Washington being so heavily favored or being so loved in the beginning, I question what I'm reading because it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, are you not looking at the overall what happened between then and now and, what most likely is going to be the continuing trend in the trajectory of teams? Like, it's like you're ignoring that and just going by, oh, well, you know what, I'll take what happened last year and just mail it in right now.
That's what it seemed like. But it just
seems lazy.
In my opinion, the Pac-12 championship game will be between Oregon and Utah, and winner gets into the playoff. That's just how I see it breaking down this year. And I see that winner being Utah.
I could see that happening. I'm obviously going to go with my guys, the Ducks.
I think it's going to be Utah and Oregon. I agree with Dan. It's going to be the Ducks.
I wouldn't be.
You can't say I agree with Dan when we're both Dan.
With,
I can't possibly be wrong.
With Utah, as I would be if it was freaking Washington, but obviously, I'd be much happier if it were the Ducks.
I understand. Like, trust me, I fucking hate Michigan. But
well, I can agree with you there.
Michigan.
I don't know what team you're talking about. They don't exist to me.
TTUN.
That team up north?
Yeah.
Got it.
I hate that team up north. But I realized pretty early on in the season where Michigan smacked Penn State, and then Penn State beat Ohio State, and then Ohio State beat Michigan, and it was just a fucking clusterfuck, that Michigan had the best defense in college football. You're not scoring on them.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be mad if, like, the team is literally the best team at something.
Until last year, because Ohio State smacked
their
them
defense
around last year.
Their defense was quote-unquote rebuilding. I meant specifically that season.
Okay. Every team's always rebuilding. This is fucking college football, you dinkus.
Yes. But what I'm saying is I meant specifically...
You cannot rebuild. You only have these players for 4 years. Unless, of course, you get what's-his-name, who's somehow there for 12.
Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Michigan that season had the best defense in college football, and it wasn't even close. Not even close. I mean, Taco Charlton got drafted in the first round.
I think because week ones are super unpredictable, I think that Oregon will take Auburn, and that momentum will carry them. They will end up winning the Pac-12, and I believe that we'll see them there come playoff time.
Regardless of who wins, I think the winner of that championship game is in the playoff. I think it's one from the Big Ten, two from the SEC, and one from the Pac-12.
Well, I also think that there's a good chance that Utah and Oregon could meet each other undefeated.
Oh, yeah. Well,
because I don't think they play each other.
I don't think they do either, but let me just confirm that. Regardless, they're going to meet in the championship, and the winner of the championship is going to the playoff. That's my opinion. But I'm just confirming, does Oregon play Utah?
I'm pretty sure they don't.
Okay. All right, Utah start off with their rival from BYU. No, they don't. So Utah's season goes BYU, Northern Illinois, Idaho State, USC, Washington State, Oregon State, Arizona State, Cal, Washington, UCLA, Arizona, and Colorado. So they're finishing... Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I'm not worried about Utah going to Washington because they play BYU, then they play Northern Illinois, they play Idaho State, they're rested for USC. Then they play Washington State, then they play Oregon State, then they play Arizona State, then they play Cal. Rest 4 weeks, and then you get Washington. And then it's rest against UCLA, rest against Arizona, rest against Colorado, play Oregon. Their season breaks down so nicely for them.
They do have a nice breakdown there. Like I said, they're going to meet, they can meet undefeated. If they meet, there's going to be one loss between them. And that may be the Auburn game.
And let me look up Oregon's schedule and see how theirs stacks. Because if they have to play, like, 5 good teams in a row, which is not going to happen.
It's the Pac-12. What are we talking about? 5 good teams in a row. There's not 5 good teams in a row to be had.
All right, so Auburn's a 3-point favorite over Oregon. I don't get that. I don't think Auburn is that good.
They're getting the points because they're at home.
I don't think they're that close, though. I still think, while it's going to be a tough test, I think Oregon is 10 to 13 points
I think
better.
that Oregon wins that game outright. That may be one of the ones I put into a parlay.
Then
I'm surprised that I would be shocked by the time that I go to place that line doesn't move.
Right. Then Nevada, Montana, and then Stanford, Cal, Colorado, then at Washington, and then Washington State, then USC. Playing Washington and then USC so close to each other might cause some problems. I don't know.
It's a big might.
Then Arizona State, and then you get the rivalry to end the season. So, because it's the Big 12, favorable, or not Big 12, Pac-12, favorable schedules definitely help. Next week, when we talk about the Big 10.
Wait a minute. Why are we doing this?
What? Next week?
Yeah.
When we talk about the Big 10.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to get 3 weeks in a row where you're playing a bad team. Because even the bad teams outside of Rutgers and Illinois are going to come at you and hit you hard. Indiana's a bad team, but they play tough.
Yeah, they do play good games. I mean, there's certain conferences. The ones that we talk about going forward are going to be the ones that there's not easy wins to come by.
The SEC and the Big Ten, unless you're the best team in the other conferences, if you're playing a team that's not the worst team in the Big Ten or the SEC, you're in for a fight.
Yeah, you might be in trouble. That being said, if you want to test your mettle, that's where you go.
I could see.
You want to know what your team truly is? Go play one of them.
Washington. We'll just say Washington versus Northwestern. I'm not convinced Washington wins.
No.
Washington versus Indiana. Not convinced Washington wins.
I'd say that they're probably favored, but
Washington and Iowa, especially if they're in Iowa, my money's on Iowa.
Well, yeah, Kinnick has one of those exceptions to the rule. It's like you don't bet on Hawaii when they're at home. You don't bet against them, okay? Same thing with Air Force. If a team plays Air Force in Colorado, you take Air Force.
Yeah. You just take Air Force, unless you're unpatriotic.
Well, no, something about, because they love to air out the ball, and, the idea that you're practicing so much in Colorado throwing the ball, it takes some players that are visiting some time to adjust to the fact that, you may flick it, but it's going to go a little bit further than you normally would down at sea level there, bud.
Yeah. But let's quickly get back to the Pac-12 and finish this up so that we can get on out of here for the night. All right, guys?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. So the Pac-12 favorable schedule for both Oregon and Utah. You're right. They both could go undefeated and meet undefeated in the championship. And honestly, if that happens and it's a close game in the championship, let's say Oregon wins 24-17 in double overtime because they make a defensive stop at the goal line or whatever, Utah can't punch it in.
Keep going, I'm close.
I could see the playoff committee be like, you know what? Fuck that second SEC team. And we get one Big Ten, one SEC, two Pac-12 teams in the playoff.
It's a bit bold, but maybe.
I mean, if you have two teams who are undefeated, playing in the championship, playing close, one of them being easily top 3 defenses in college football, you have to look at it.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath at it, though, knowing the college football committee.
Yeah, because you could have fucking undefeated teams in, all 4 conferences. Alabama still getting in. They have a 6-win season. They're getting in.
I'm pretty sure they're contractually obligated with ESPN to put Alabama in until 2025.
Alabama and Clemson every season. But anyways, yeah, so a little teaser, like I said earlier, we're done with the Pac-12 now, unless, Dan O'Shea, you have anything more to say?
Go Ducks.
I saw that coming.
Yeah, I don't know why I even asked. Next week we have 2 things going on, I believe.
Oh, boy, we have a challenge of a flag.
A challenge of a flag.
Yeah, that's the new change that they made. He's challenging the penalty that was called on the field for pass interference. Oh, that's so cool that they can do that now. I really like that change, actually.
Oh, that kind of looked like pass interference to me.
He can put his hands on him. Does he grab him?
I don't think they're going to turn it.
Oh, he grabbed him. Yep.
Yeah,
that is pass interference.
Yeah, he's inside his jersey.
If he had just held his hand on him, I'd say no, it's not pass interference, but he grabbed him.
Yeah.
That's where you effed up, bud. That's a penalty. That's your fault, 37.